is not just how to be a better appraiser, but how to be a better business owner.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast, helping appraisers increase their efficiency, quality, and make more money. Here's the guy who makes it his life's mission to create value for real estate appraisers nationwide. Your host and the Appraiser Coach, Dustin Harris.
Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the program. Dustin Harris hanging out in the podcast chair. Had a lot of questions ever since we made the announcement that Appraisal Precision in Idaho, Utah, and Wyoming was acquired by a company called True Footage. Lots and lots of questions. I wanted to address some of those questions today and just kind of do a deep dive into why I did what I did and what my life looks like moving forward. I want to pause and remind you that we are sponsored by three wonderful, great companies. We're going to talk about technology today. And folks, there is no better technology when it comes to appraisals out there than Alamode. Alamode is the leader in the report writing software for appraisers across the nation. Find out more. Go to their website at alamode.com. You can call them 800 Alamode. Data Master, saving appraisers time, saving appraisers money on every single report that they do. You can learn more, find out if they're in your area and what they can do for you in your report specifically by go to their website at datamasterusa.com. Again, it's datamasterusa.com. Finally, we're sponsored by Working RE Magazine. I love Working RE, folks. I don't like spam. I don't like lots of emails. I love Working RE. They are on the tip top of what's going on. Just the other day, great big announcement from Fannie Mae, and sure enough, immediately after the announcement was made, Working RE was on it. WorkingRE.com to learn more and to sign up for their free newsletter. Again, WorkingRE.com. All right, folks, if you missed the interview with Mr. John Liss, CEO of True Footage, I encourage you to go back and take a listen, take a gander at that. I think it's good to get to know John. One of the announcements that I made in that podcast was that my company of 27 years, yeah, that's right, 27 years, folks, I've been running my own appraisal company. I've never actually been a part of another company. I've never actually worked for another appraiser, including my mentor. When I started out years and years ago, in 1996, was the first year that I was in business. I was not in the same state as my father, who was my mentor, so I set up my own entity, and it's just always been that way. Now, I've worked with other appraisers across the time and space, including my dad and my brother and others, but I've always had my own company. I've always been my own person. I've always been the owner. One of the things that I do as a coach and as a mentor to other appraisers is teach them how to be better CEOs. In fact, that's probably the biggest focus that I have had over the years is not just how to be a better appraiser, but how to be a better business owner. Well, recently we experienced a huge change, and it was a big decision. I want to talk a little bit about that decision and why I made the decision that I made, and kind of just walk you through the process. You've been with me for many years now. We're now over 700 episodes, the most listened to appraisal-related podcast in the world. And you're my friends. I consider you family. I consider you a part of the team. And I think it's only fair that I answer the many questions that have come to me through IM and email and, talking to people in the All-Star team and, of course, at my Dream Team. Why? Why did you sell? I don't think they're asking why did you sell out, because I don't see it that way at all. But I want to just kind of set this up. About 9 months ago, I started in each of my masterminds across the country, and we've got 7 now, from sea to shining sea, as you may. And as part of the meetings, long before I knew anything about True Footage, long before I had ever met John Liss, I was spending some time in the masterminds talking about the changes that are occurring in the appraisal world. I've talked about them on this microphone. This is no secret, folks. Now, I do have a weird, I'm going to call it weird because I'm not sure if it's I'm not sure if it's an asset or not, because sometimes I just sound kooky. But I have this weird ability to connect dots, to take all the puzzle pieces out there and kind of connect them. And sometimes I'm wrong. Sometimes I take all these dots and I put them together in a pattern that I think fits. And then, when you step back and you look at it and go, maybe not, right? I've given the example here before of when I predicted that the housing crash would never hit Idaho after 2008. Well, it did. It took a couple years. It actually didn't hit us till fall of 2010. But, I can be wrong. And that's the point, right? But that being said, this is not a look at a couple of data points and try to make a conclusion. This is looking at many, many data points. The amount of companies being bought up by other companies, the big changes that are happening with Fannie Mae, and VA and FHA and the GSEs across the nation, the many things that are happening with technology in the valuation space. Folks, I don't think I'm wrong. I've yet to talk to any expert out there who said, Dustin, you're way off base. That's not the direction things are going. Let me paint the picture. And again, this is something in our mastermind we spent, 45 minutes setting up and talking about. I'm going to give you the really brief Reader's Digest version, right? And it basically boils down to this. This is what I see occurring. I'm not even going to dare give you a time. I did share a time, at least an estimated time with my mastermind. I'm not going to do it here on this microphone. Don't force me. Don't make me. But I think it's soon. I think it's sooner than you think. In fact, I was having a discussion about this, and I can't use his name. It was a non-public conversation. They call those private conversations. And this individual is in the know. You would all know the name. And I said, how fast is this all coming? And he said, Dustin, what do you think? And I gave him my estimation. He goes, it's going to happen faster than you think. Well, what? What am I talking about, Dustin? Okay, enough setting it up. Talk to me. What are we talking about? Folks, I see a major shift happening in the valuation world, a bigger shift than I've seen in my 27 years of doing this. Now, I've seen a lot of changes, right? I was there when they introduced the drive-bys. I was there through COVID. I was there through the 2008 to 2010 crash. I get it, folks. There's been a lot of changes in this world over the years. I don't think that any of those changes personally compare to what I see on the horizon, what I see happening. Okay, Dustin, enough. Quit beating around the bush. What is it that you see? Here's my prediction, folks. I think that in the near future, there's going to be a major shift in the way that we do appraisals. And I'm just going to put it succinctly like this. I think the old 1004 is going to be a relic. I think that the idea that the appraiser has to be boots on the ground in the living room, and I know a lot of my listeners hate this, and I know you're going to reach out with hate mail and you're going to say, Dustin, blast you, you're going to replace my job. I absolutely do not believe that the appraiser is being replaced. I believe there's people out there that want to replace the appraiser, but I think there's far more out there that understand the power and the importance of having a professional look at the valuation side of real estate. I absolutely do. I do not think we're being replaced. I do think that there's going to be some major changes when it comes to the valuation space that will reduce the amount of time it takes to do an appraisal. Data gathering is going to be much different in the future. A lot of 3D modeling, a lot of desktop work I think is coming. I shouldn't say I think. I know. I mean, we see that, right? There's been some major announcements over the last couple of weeks even regarding Fannie May and the move toward more and more desktops. Okay. Now, I know a lot of this scares people, right? So does that mean I'm going to be out of a job in the future? And I would say absolutely not. If you want to get a good grasp on what I believe the future looks like for appraisers, without me spending a whole lot of time here on this microphone because I want to get to some other things today, I would encourage you to go back and listen to the episode with Ernie Durbin called Harbor Pilots. You can look it up on the website. Just go to my podcast, look up Harbor Pilots, and I think that Ernie years ago had it right when he understood what a harbor pilot is, what a harbor pilot does, and what appraisal is going to look like in the near future. So that brings us to a decision. And over the last couple of months, as I mentioned earlier, I've been spending a lot of time with my mastermind students talking about these changes and saying, listen, folks, this isn't something to be fearful of. This isn't something that we need to go hide under a rock and say, please don't take my job. Please don't take my job. I love doing the 1004. Please don't take my job. This is something to prepare for. This is something to get ready for. This is going to take some major revamping of your business model. This is going to be taking the procedures and the policies and even the people that work with you and saying, okay, do we have people in the right seats on the bus? Do we have the right procedures in order? Are we moving in the direction that the world is moving in if you are going to do lender work? Now, there really is three choices, I believe, in this upcoming world. And again, I don't know how fast, but I don't think it'll be months, but I do think it will be short years before we get to this point, that any appraiser that wants to continue to stay in business will have, again, I don't like to be binary. It's either going to be this or this, right? But I do see three major options moving forward if you want to continue to find success as a real estate appraiser. Number one, you can completely, and I do mean that, completely revamp your process. I did a workshop about, I don't know, it's been 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, called Go Remodel Your Appraisal Business. You can still find it on my website. I still think everything in there is relevant. And we talked about the moves, even then, 3 or 4 years ago, that the valuation world was moving in, the directions that they were moving in, and how to prepare, how to set up your business in such a way that you can compete in the new world. And folks, I will continue to be there as your coach, to guide you, to direct you, to hold your hand, to help you to do that remodeling that will be needed if you continue to run your own shop. I think the other option is that you can shift from lender work to non-lender work, to private work, to do more government contract work, estates, divorces, expert witness, partial interest, you name it, folks. Homeowners that just want to know what the value of their home is, pre-listing appraisals. There's so much opportunity out there, and I do believe that a lot of appraisers will shift to that because they, frankly, are tired of doing lender work and don't really want to move in the direction that the lender work is going to be moving. The third option that honestly was not even on my radar when I started talking about this to my Mastermind students months ago is that you can yoke yourself with a company that is moving in the direction of the industry. And folks, that's what we here at Appraisal Precision have decided to do. I do see some major changes happening. I am not convinced that one decision is better than the other. I really am not. For us, for me, for our team, we felt like moving to a model where we can yoke with a team, a group of people that is moving in the right direction, was the right one for us. I had reservations right up until the closing date. But I can tell you that now, having been in the role of regional manager, I'm back to a W-2 employee now, for several weeks, I have been increasingly more and more impressed with True Footage and the company it is. Now, this is not an infomercial for True Footage. It is not. Yes, I'm going to mention True Footage several times today, as I already have, because that's what's on my purview right now, right? There are other companies out there that you may want to look at if you choose door number 3, as we talked about. But for us, that's what we did. And the purpose of today's podcast is honestly to just answer questions that have come from my listeners. Why did you move in this direction, Dustin? What does that look like for you? What does life look like for you? And I want to get into that in more depth and detail when we get back from the break. But first, I want to pause here and remind you that we're sponsored by wonderful sponsors that have been with us from the very beginning. Number one is DataMaster. I love the guys at DataMaster down in Utah. Big company helping appraisers across the nation, but it's a family company. And it's a company you can talk to. You can pick up the phone and call somebody and actually talk to a human being that can help you through the process of saving time, saving money on each and every report that you do. DatamasterUSA.com. Again, it's DatamasterUSA.com. A la mode is saving appraisers time as well. It's been the company that I have been with for the whole 27 years that I've been doing appraisals, and I absolutely adore this company because they adore me, the appraiser. Their job is to help me to be better. I was on the phone with them today. We had a problem. There was just I couldn't update my system. And I called, and the friendly guy on the other end of the line said, okay, what's the error you're getting? Let's go through it. And he goes, oh, that's a Windows error. Oh, okay. Folks, it's not even their error. It's not an a la mode problem. It was a Windows problem. And guess what? He held my hand through the whole process of updating it and making sure that a la mode would work with the new update. It was awesome. That's the kind of group that you would be working with if you hooked your wagon to a la mode. It's alamode.com or 800 a la mode. And of course, we are sponsored by the great Working RE magazine. I've talked a little bit about the changes that are happening with the GSE, specifically with Fannie Mae and desktops. And I alluded to an article that popped up in my inbox recently, and that's what it was, folks. It was a deep dive by Mr. Isaac Peck, the editor-in-chief there at Working RE magazine, with all kinds of data and information about the direction that the appraisal world is going, specifically with Fannie Mae. Folks, if you want to stay on the top of what's going on with your chosen career, check them out. Sign up for their free newsletter, folks. It's workingre.com. Working RE as in working real estate.com. All right, folks, welcome back to the program. We're talking today about some changes at my office. Now, before this all occurred, I had 3 businesses. Those businesses were Appraisal Precision, the Appraiser Coach, and then, of course, I've got my real estate investment site as well. As I met with Mr. John Liss, which I talked a lot about that first meeting in that episode that just aired. So again, go back and listen to that if you have interest in the approach and kind of the conversations that we had together. But as I met with John, I made it very clear up front that I was going to continue to do what I'm very passionate about. And honestly, let's just be honest, it's not appraisal, right? I like appraisal. I really do enjoy my job. I do. I still love going out. I still love meeting people. I still enjoy the whole comp selection process and adjustments and kind of using that detective work to get to an answer. What is this home really worth? I enjoy that. I really do. But it is not my passion. It is not my love. Now, I do love running the business, but my passion is teaching. My passion is what I'm doing right now, to turn on a microphone and share information with people that are interested in learning more about their chosen career, in learning more and helping people to get to another level. Now, not to pat myself on the back, but folks, I had somebody reach out to me the other day and talk about how his business had changed from when he first started with me. He was making just barely over six figures, okay, just barely, let's call it 125 a year, right? He is now making over a $500,000 a year, and he's only been with me 2.5 years. And now, granted, he did the work, right? I didn't do that. But it is so cool to be a part of that and help an appraiser stop living day to day, stop living paycheck to paycheck, and actually run a successful business where they can find great financial success as well. And oh, by the way, I didn't mention the fact that he was working, 50, 60 hours a week when he first met me. And now he's down to a little less than 20 hours a week running his business. It's super cool, folks. That, to me, is so powerful. And I told John, I said, listen, John, I love what you're doing here. And as far as the appraisal office goes, let me mull it over. Let's talk through what that looks like. What are the numbers? What does my day-to-day look like? But I said, in the end, I want to keep two things outstanding on the other side of the purchase, if you will. And that is my ability to coach and to mentor appraisers across the country, and my ability to continue to invest in real estate. Specifically, my focus, as you all know, is short-term rentals. And I just love that, both of those experiences. And John was nothing but gracious through this whole process, bending over backward to make this a win-win for both of us. And so the questions have come. Dustin, first of all, why did you sell? Well, that's a question that is, first of all, it's a great question, right? And the answer is, let me start by saying I was not planning on selling. My business was not on the market. Now, I have helped and assisted several other appraisers to get their businesses ready for sale. And that being said, it's always been in the back of my mind. It's not like I haven't crossed that bridge in my mind, right? It's not like mentally I haven't said, hey, if the opportunity were there and the numbers worked and the situation worked and the conditions worked, that I wouldn't be open to that. But John Liss reached out to me. I got a call, as I mentioned on a previous podcast, on a Friday afternoon. It was the next Monday that John was in my office, but an offer didn't come till several weeks later. That's when things transpired. Our first meeting was about the business, was about the industry. He was picking my brain, I was picking his brain. We had a wonderful discussion, and then down the road, it looked like there might be a win-win situation for us with an offer. So I wanted to establish that, number one, my business was not up for sale. But because John approached me the way that he did, very non-pushy, I did not feel like there was a used car salesman in my ear, and the direction that I saw True Footage going, I sat back and said, listen, with the changes that are happening in the appraisal world, I've got a couple of different choices, right? As I laid them out for you. Number one, I can completely revamp my business model. Part of that might be door number two, which would be let's move away from lending work and more into the private style. Or I can hook my wagon to a team of horses already moving in the direction that I feel that I would like to move anyway. And that's what we decided to do. Folks, I'm telling you that is a big decision. After 26, 27 years of running my own business, it is weird to be a W-2 employee. I was a little bit concerned about the idea of joining a big group, right? A corporate culture. I've always been kind of averse to that. I've seen my friends and my neighbors and my family members be a part of big corporate cultures, and I see a lot of politics. I see a lot of red tape. I see a lot of stuff that I just don't want to be a part of. I wanted to make sure that my freedom was intact moving forward, that I have the ability to be able to do what I need to do when it comes to running my own business. And when I say running my own business, I'm talking about the other two businesses that are still intact, but also the ability, if I'm going to continue on as a W-2 employee with True Footage, I want the freedom and ability to do what I need to do, right? And to have the freedom that I don't have to come begging for a day off, for example, that I don't have to, check in with daddy, if you will, every time I turn around. And I'm telling you, folks, the good things about company culture and corporate culture have all been there. And what I mean by the good things, I mean the camaraderie, the ability, we're constantly on Slack communicating with one another. Hey, I've got this issue. Hey, I'm dealing with this. Hey, where do I go for this information? And people are bending over backward to help us out. I've got people in Florida and Chicago and Southern California and Texas and Seattle all at my beck and call, right? Hey guys, what would you do in this situation? Boom. Within seconds, I get somebody answer. It is so cool. It is so cool to be a part of that company culture. And all of the negative that may come with corporate culture has not been there, even one iota. I feel respected. I feel looked up to. I feel like we treat each other like peers. And again, this is not an infomercial for True Footage, but the question has been asked, Dustin, why would you give up owning your own business to join a bigger group? Well, there's a lot of reasons for that. Number one, I believe in the leadership. Number two, I believe in the mission. The first thing that John told me is that we are going to beat the big companies out there, but we're going to do it using professional appraisals. I love that, right? I love the idea of so many companies out there that really would get rid of the appraiser if they could. True Footage is not like that. So that was why I did it. And honestly, I have not looked back. Once the decision has been made and I've moved forward with that, it has been a joy to be a part of this great company culture. It has been a joy to be able to continue to do my mentoring and my coaching. The all-star team is very much intact. The dream team masterminds across the country are still going full throttle, and I'm there to help you whichever door you choose. Right? I don't think we can stop the train of change. It's happening, and it's going to happen quicker, as the mentor said earlier. It's going to be happening quicker than you think, Dustin. This is where we're going. Where do you want to be? Folks, I can help you to get there. I can help you if you want to revamp your appraisal office and continue to do lender work. Door number two, if you want to go the private way, I've helped many appraisers to be able to go down that road. And number three, if you're interested in joining a team like True Footage, reach out to me. I'd love to have a conversation with you and tell you a little bit more about what they offer and what they're looking for. I think that this company is going to be a company to be reckoned with, and it's a great opportunity for me to be a part of that. I've reached out to my friends in the industry before the announcement was made publicly and said, hey, just FYI, I want to let you know what's going on here, and they've all been very, very supportive. I want to thank each of you for your support and your questions. This is a great opportunity for me to share real information about a real experience that's going on in my life that has been a great opportunity. And so thank you for the opportunity for me to share that with you. Thank you for the questions that have come that have spurred this little podcast today. And if you have any further questions, reach out to me. Let me know. I can be reached at the coach at theappraisercoach.com. One more time, it's the coach at theappraisercoach.com.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.